Right, I'm going to show you how to make Yorkshire pudding. You will need some table salt, plain flour, or all-purpose flour as it's known in the US, 2 decent sized eggs, some milk. I'm using full fat. You'll also need a bit of water. Then you need something to bake your Yorkshires in. Now here's a bun tin or a muffin tin that you can use. This is a traditional Yorkshire pudding tin, but a bit bigger. As you can see, mine's a bit old and battered and scratched. But for this video I'm going to be using the muffin tin. Also handy, a standard fork and a plastic measuring jug. You can mix it up in a bowl, but I find the jugs easier. Right, first thing, 6 ounces of flour in the jug. Forgot the video for that bit. Then, once you've got your flour, grab a couple of eggs. Make a little well in the middle of the flour. And simply crack your eggs in. Can't make pudding without breaking eggs. And dish out any bits of shell that you inadvertently get in there. Right, the next thing to do is to add some milk. Like I say, I prefer whole milk, but semi-skimmed will do. Once you've got into your milk, then you need to add a little bit. We're going to be using about half a pint in total. It's not precise because it depends on the consistency of the mixture. So you add about that much to start with. And then a little bit of water. Obviously, if you can get Yorkshire water, then that's the best. I make do with Northumbrian spring water. And we're going to add, I use a dessert spoon, and I'm going to put 4 dessert spoons of water in. It's about 2 tablespoons if you want to use a measuring cup. So that just goes in there. Da-da-dee-da. 3. 4. Now, we've got to combine this. So you want to do it slowly and start mixing it all together. The key thing is to make sure you've got the flour all mixed in and that there isn't flour stuck to the bottom or the sides of the measuring jug. Otherwise you'll end up with a real sort of gloopy, thicky bit at the bottom that you don't want. You want it all mixed together. Now it'll be a bit stiff to start with, but if you just keep working away at it, it will all start to come together, as you can see. Now I find the measuring jug is easier to do this in than a bowl. I end up with bowl sliding all over the place. The measuring jug also comes in handy later on in the process. So there we go. Once it's all combined together, it'll still be pretty thick, and you're sure you've got it all off the sides. Like that, you can see it's like gloopy. Then what you need to do is add a little bit more milk. So again, not too much. That'll do us. And slowly, otherwise you'll cover your kitchen with Yorkshire pudding batter mix, slowly stir until the milk is fully combined with all the other ingredients. Now when it's got combined, then what you need to do is to start beating the living daylights out of it. I mean, basically beat it until it's dead and then beat it a bit more. Again, I find a fork and a measuring jug is the easiest way to do it. You could use a whisk. So you see we're still quite thick there. It's running off the fork in very thick bits. So again, a little bit more milk. Stir it in slowly so we don't cover ourselves with batter. When it's all stirred in, then we can speed up a bit and start beating. Beat it to death. Go on, don't hold back. The idea is you want him to get a lot of air in this, because there's no raising agent in Yorkshire puddings. It's just a bit more milk. Now we're aiming for a consistency that is a bit thicker than milk, obviously, but that runs off the fork. I'll try and get a close-up of that when it's getting near to the proper consistency. You can also tell by the colour, it should be a nice sort of cream colour, not as white as milk and not as yolky yellowy as it will start. So that's me testing the consistency, see how it runs off the fork. It's still a bit thick, so we'll add a bit more. Beat, 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 beat. You'll see that you start to get lots of air bubbles forming on the surface, which is exactly what you're after. Now that's a lot thinner. That's got the consistency that I want. So now I'm at the sort of consistency that I want. It just runs off the fork there, you see, between the fork prongs, leaving your gaps at the top. Yeah, it's not all running off really quickly, it's just nicely draining off. So once we're at that consistency, then you just beat it and beat it and beat it and beat it until you're bored. I think I must have got bored by this stage. The final thing we need to do is to add some salt. Now it's about this much. I call that a good pinch, a good teaspoon. Too much and it'll be salty, not enough and they'll be tasteless. So add your salt and then give it a final beat, and there you can see the consistency we've got. That'll do us. Now preheat your oven about 190, 180, and when it's up to heat you need to get some sort of fat in your muffin tin. I'm using vegetable oil. Traditionally it's dripping or lard, but these days vegetable oil's absolutely fine. Give it a good rub in. You want to cover the bottoms, make well so they're well covered. Rub them in and around the sides. That'll help stop them, help them to stop sticking. If they stick, it doesn't matter. You just end up with a bit ripped up Yorkshire puddings. So we've had our tray in the oven for 20 minutes. Good 20 minutes. It wants to have a good chance to heat up. Give your Yorkshire puddings a final little beat, not too much because you'll knock the air out, just a little flick. And then this is where the measuring jug comes in really handy, because you want to get these puddings in as quickly as possible. Yeah. You want a decent depth of pudding. You're not filling the muffin tins. I would say maybe about a third to a half, no more than that. Otherwise they're not going to rise. So get them all filled up and grab your oven glove tea towel. I'm a tea towel fan myself. Give them a little jiggle to sort of settle them around. You'll know the fat's hot enough because it'll start to sort of sizzle around the edge of the batter the minute you put them in. And then bang them back in the oven. And you want to shut the door and forget about them for 20 minutes. Don't open the door. Don't be tempted to keep jiggling with them. Just leave them. And 20 minutes at 180, 190 won't be a problem. And then this is what you'll get. Yorkshire pudding. Bang them out onto a plate. Now these are great, obviously, with a Sunday dinner. In Yorkshire, you'd have half a dozen of these on a plate on their own with gravy as a starter before you have your Sunday dinner. And there we go, Yorkshire pudding.